in the country have become victims twice over. Take the Nigerians. They fled the hell of Sudan on an evacuation journey to Egypt. But for the second time in just a few days, they had to endure unimaginable suffering, sleepless nights without provisions, stuck at the border for days before being allowed into Egypt. But upon arriving at the airport, stuck there again, as there were too many of them and too few seats on the two planes, an Air Peace passenger plane and a Nigerian Air Force C-130 plane. Both aircraft were grounded by the Egyptians, but eventually, a few hours ago, we're told, everyone boarded and the flight home began. So what does this tell us about Nigeria's evacuation strategy? Well, for more on this, I'm joined now from our studios in Lagos by the chairman and CEO of Air Peace, Alan Onyema. Good evening to you, Alan. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. And let me commend you in every possible way for the extraordinary work you've been doing, helping to rescue Nigerians in distress. It's not the first time you've done it, but I understand that this evacuation mission from Sudan has been particularly difficult. Tell us about the challenges you faced.
Thank you very much. I see it's been a lot of issues from one issue to the other. First of all, we are told that the evacuation would take place some 4 days ago, but that couldn't happen. Today it will be Port Sudan. The next moment is Port Abu Simbel Airport in Egypt. The next time it becomes Aswan Airport. So at all times there's been a lot of confusion out there. The thing is, we were ready to evacuate Nigerians right from the onset. We were ready to deploy our planes. At the time, we were actually ready to deploy about 3 aircraft. But when the confusion set in, it became very, very wise for us to take our time and do it one at a time. And that was what we did. We set out to enter Egypt yesterday. We got to Aswan Airport thinking we'll meet the evacuees, but they were nowhere in sight. It was actually when we got there that the Egyptians started allowing the evacuees to leave their borders. I understand, I'm not blaming them. They would want to make sure their own security, the security of their nation is intact. So we waited out there. Pilots had to go to the airport, to the hotel to sleep until this morning when we got the all clear that they started coming out. Now, when they came out, I think the Air Force people said they would like to be boarded first. I told my people to allow them to be boarded first. They are boarded. When APIS was about to take the remaining ones, we discovered that there were more than the 2 aircraft could carry. And we supplied the seating capacity of these 777, and I'm sure the Air Force people must have also supplied the seating capacity of their own aircraft. So we had about 371 people on ground. APIS was to take 281. The Air Force people were to take a little above 80 or about 90. But I think when the people came on with luggage on their aircraft, they discovered they would not be able to take the number of people they had posited. They would be able to take, because theirs is a smaller aircraft. And the Egyptians decided that both planes would not leave Egypt, leaving about 15 passengers, onboarded. And what I did immediately, we've not slept for the past 2 days, and I must use this opportunity to commend our ambassador out there, Ambassador Abarimi. The man has really worked tirelessly for this country. We were there, we were not sleeping. I told him never to go to sleep because we never know what will happen the next moment. So the Egyptians decided that no one will leave. So what I told my captains is this: the Air Force jets could not carry up to the number they posited they would carry because of the load factor, the luggage factor. I said, in that case, let APs carry all the luggage disembark all the luggage, remove all the luggage from the Air Force jet, put them on AP's cargo belly, because our aircraft could take up to 40 tons. Put everything so that the Air Force people could take in more passengers. You know, every aircraft has a maximum takeoff weight and maximum landing weight. So it was imperative that safety must be observed at all times. So what the Air Force people actually did was to ensure and assure safety, which was good. So I told our captains to get in touch with the Air Force pilots. So we decided to take the passengers, take the luggage from their own aircraft and put in ours. And that was when they were able to take the remaining passengers. I think they took about 80 or thereabout, 80 passengers. We took 281. They will reach Nigeria in the next few hours. I think APs will be landing at about 11:13 this night, followed by the Air Force jet. They took off before us, but I think we might arrive before them because this is a 777.
I'm glad you mentioned or you commended the Nigerian ambassador there, because I was going to ask you whether Nigerian officials added to the tribulations, because we heard a lot of stories about them not being around and not really offering the kind of assistance, consular diplomatic assistance that you'd expect from Nigerian officials in a state of emergency in a foreign country.
Well, there's room for improvement. I'm not trying to excuse anybody or condemn anybody. But this man, Ambassador Abba Musarimi, has really done a lot. Remember, he went to the border. So some other people were supposed to be at this airport. So when this was happening, there were nobody inside. So at that point in time, I was taking charge from here and directing certain things that happened. The truth is, it was not an easy operation, because at every point in time, let me tell you this, the Egyptians told us to use Aswan. We filed for Aswan Airport. They came back and said, no, we don't want them to travel 5 hours into Egypt, because from the border town to Aswan Airport is about 5 hours. They now changed it to Abu Simbel Airport. Abu Simbel is just about 2 hours out of the border.
Good boy, that's how to do. Good afternoon, my
When we filed our flight plan for Abu Simbel, they came back again and said no, they don't have to come into Egypt at all. We started planning Port Sudan.
Like that,
they said there was a window, but I was worried about going into Sudan at all, whether there was a window or there was a protected flight path. It was not going to be. I was not going to do that. I didn't want to endanger the lives of my crew and the lives of other Nigerians that we were going to rescue. So later, it was changed again to Aswan, from Aswan again to Abu Simbel. Then we got a report that even Abu Simbel Airport is 21 nautical miles to the